to episode 71 of Spill the RT. Hi, Josh. How are you doing?
Hey, well, I'm doing well. How about you? Is everything going well this week?
All is going hickory dickory. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Who knows?
For folks that don't know, we don't tape this on the day that it airs. So we don't know really how the week has gone. I
The
know.
magic has
I'm
been
breaking the
spilled.
fourth wall.
Oh my goodness, Josh.
Oh,
We actually have survived 71 episodes without letting people realize that we don't shoot live.
I'm pretty sure they've realized that by now.
Okay, well, I did take the live sign off like a couple of generations ago. So yeah. Anywho, I replaced the live site with like live smoke on a little teacup if you look
No,
down the
I'm
bottom right
just
hand
saying,
corner.
at the point you're watching something and then it quickly cuts in some kind of way that suggests an editor when we're clearly still talking, how do you think that happens? Like,
I thought my
please.
editing skills were much better than that, to be honest.
I wish we could afford that kind of real time editing. Hint, hint, hint. Sponsors, hi. But I mean,
Hint, hint, hint.
I
If we
think,
are getting sponsors, I tell you, the money will be going straight to us. It won't be going to any further external editing company, let me tell you.
come on. Our regulars know they're dealing with two clowns. They know there's no way. Come on.
I love
Come
clowns.
on.
You know, you can do a whole degree in clownmanship.
When I was growing up, my sister would cry at clowns. So I grew to hate clowns, not because I hate clowns, but because I hated the reaction that the clown produced in the person next to me. She
Oh,
would
you
literally
hated.
scream. She would scream like she was being murdered.
Oh, you
Right.
just hated
So
that your sister was being made upset. Oh, that's so sweet. Look how empathetic you can be. When did that feeling of empathy leave you? Was that
not,
sooner or
it was
later?
not, it was not a feeling of empathy whatsoever.
Okay. Okay. Sympathy,
No.
not empathy, because empathy is something that you feel yourself, isn't it? It's sympathy is something that you would have for someone
It
else.
was sympathy for me. I wanted her to stop screaming because I
Oh,
wanted the screaming to stop.
okay, okay, okay. Well, we have a fabulous guest all the way from London, so far away from me today, that we will speak to quite soon. But Josh, we have a couple of stories that we're going to cover
We
this
do.
week. We do. We're almost
Do
like the
you want to
Financial
know?
Times. Are you ready?
I know it's truly we are. You ready? We're tracking the world today for sure. So this week, NFT market total collapse. Bonhams saw its pre-tax loss jump almost 90% last year. MSCHF's latest project could see a 2-year-old cow slaughtered. Steve Jobs' early Apple artifacts are going up for auction, and insurance costs for the Bayeux Tapestry are above $1 billion. All that and a brand new guest are up next as we spill the art tea. Welcome to
Yeah,
episode
baby.
71.
71. What an episode. My goodness. So we do have quite a lot to talk about, and so we best bring on our guests. But before we do, I'd like Josh to tell all of the world what it is that they have to do before we head on into this bumper load episode.
Poor Poppy, you keep psyching out when you're going
I
to
do,
bring
yeah.
her on.
I do, yeah. She's sitting on the edge, I tell you.
Meanwhile, you should like, share, subscribe, send to 3 friends, hit that red button, that little bell thing, do something. Show us, leave a comment, show us you're alive, prove to the universe. How's that? Is that good?
Perfect. That
Did I
was
say?
excellent. I'm loving your script work. It's fantastic. Good job. Good job. You learned your lines. Right. Well, without further ado, please welcome our guest all the way from London. It is Poppy Cauchi. Cauchi. Poppy Cauchi. Oh, Poppy, I ruined
He
it.
told us it's cow key. It's just not
Cauchi.
hard.
Did you
It's
Poppy,
say
I
as
ruined
simple
it.
as
I'm so sorry. Poppy, welcome to the show. You're very, very
Thanks.
welcome.
welcome to your first amenism of the show. That's just the first of many. Get
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. I have my own vocabulary. There's a glossary of terms that I'll send to you. I should probably send in advance of the podcast.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably.
Just the
Yeah.
fact that you called it a glassary, that alone should let you
I
know.
said
We're all good.
glossary. I did not say glossary. No,
You
no, no.
did.
That's just your mishearing. I did not say glossary. That's funny though. That's just comic timing, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just hilarious.
Sure. Sure. Tell yourself that. Let that be. Let that
Yeah.
be.
So, Josh, where are we heading to this week? What's happening? Where are we going to first?
Off we go, I guess, to Paris.
Okay.
It's the interwebs, but it's Paris. So everybody remember NFTs? Remember NFTs?
Yeah, we
Did you
hate
ever
them.
get any of those? Did you ever get any of those emails or direct messages, Poppy, about, hey, can you sell me your art as NFT in like badly broken English?
No.
So for
Never.
my
Oh, you're so lucky.
at least 3 years, I would say on a daily basis, I was receiving these on multiple different kinds of communication channels. NFTs, and they were trying to like get them from artists any way they could.
They're
Why?
ghosts.
Who knows? You know why? Because the NFT market has completely collapsed. But they were going to actually have, for some reason, a physical. They were going to have this huge art, a typical kind of art show, but only for NFTs, which doesn't even make sense if you think about it, because shouldn't it be online in the first place? But nonetheless, Paris was going to have two of these big things. They both have been canceled. The market is now completely officially declared dead and bottomed out.
R.I.P.
800 billion dollars has been wasted on NFTs, apparently. Like a huge amount of money has gone down the drain on these things that are just now completely dead.
Thank goodness for
How's
that.
that?
So you've never been
Well,
actually messaged by an NFT bot on your Instagram channel, Poppy?
I don't know what NFT is,
Non-fungible token.
as in like what?
So if you have like a piece of artwork, an NFT is essentially like a piece of code that can be put towards your artwork, and it's like the digital signature or a digital print of that particular
so
artwork.
so here's a good example. You had a choice for one artist. You could either get the artwork as a physical art piece, or you could get the digital version, but you couldn't get both. And so you either bought the one or the other. If you bought the digital version, you got, I mean, you think about it, it's a picture. It's the same other, like any other JPEG you could get from anybody, right?
Mm.
But it has a certificate of authenticity that comes with it. Because this is about essentially conceptual art on a certain level, right? It's the cola that matters more than anything than the actual artwork itself. As long as it attaches to the signature of the artist in some kind of way and it's been declared authentic, guess what? Now this is art. And so the joke was, why would I bother paying for this? I can take a screenshot of someone's quote unquote NFT and look, I got my own copy, right?
Mm.
Like,
But then you can
so,
obviously hold a bank of NFTs and you can save them in your vault, and it's like a
so, but
currency.
the actual backstory behind this actually extends wider than this. The reason that the NFT market blew up is it was a way that people were washing crypto money back a few years ago before crypto had become legalized in terms of the markets that it's become. So this was
Mm.
before crypto was on the stock market, and they needed ways to move money out of the black and gray market into the light of day, right? And anyone who doesn't understand that art has been done, that this is how art has been used for centuries, right? Bad people buy art and then sell it to good people, and their bad money has now become good money, right? Like this is how capital flows. So this was this moment, and then all these artists thought, oh my God, because people sold an NFT for $70 million. They auctioned one of his pieces. It was an NFT. It was nothing but $70 million exchanged, and now that's worth approximately $8,000 at most.
Yeah. Big crash. Bottomless. So yeah.
But
So
if
there it
someone
goes.
bought it,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What you say?
like, does that mean, like, for example, if someone bought like one picture, you can't, like, is there like a contract that says you can't post that again or use it
You can
again?
do whatever you want with it. It's art. Once it's yours, do what you want. And so that was the whole thing. So then you'd have these fools who are like, I've got this ape series, these like cartoonishly drawn apes.
Oh
And
yeah.
people were buying them as NFTs. They were selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was insane kind of thing. Then they post a picture, look at my apes. And then someone would like take a screenshot. Look, now it's my ape too. Or even worse, they would have these NFT lockers. The locker would get hacked. So not only did you not have your crypto that bought the art that wasn't really art in the first place, but then the certificates that were yours are no longer yours either. So you ended up with nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
But isn't that the cliche? A fool is quickly departed from his or her money. Like, are we
anywho,
surprised by
it's
this?
gone,
Come
it's
on.
dead, thank goodness. We're all absolutely delighted that we can now be authentic in our art making once again until the next fad appears.
I'm just saying, when I was growing up, in the back of like comic books and magazines that were kid oriented, teenager oriented, there'd be all these advertisements for things that you could buy, right? Slivers of the cross for $12.99. Someone is stupid enough to be sending them money. This is, come on, how many of those African Prince emails or whatever the kind of like current spam shit that,
Yeah.
right?
My
If
great great
someone
great
doesn't
great great
actually,
grandfather left me £2 billion in their will.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just
A new
have
one
to
apparently,
send them extra first.
a new one apparently is older people are getting calls. Hi, it's your favorite grandchild,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my
now that's
goodness.
preying on the elderly and dementia, right? But
Yeah,
I'm just
that's sad.
saying, dementia only accentuates what was already there. So if you were the kind of person who would take a phone call from a stranger and be like, "Oh, you sound like Timmy. Sure, I'll give you money." Like,
Oh, poor Timmy.
sorry. No, it's poor Timmy's grandma. What are you talking about?
Timmy's just lost out on an awful lot of money. His nan got sense.
So,
Moving
spilled
swiftly.
to London we go. See
Ooh,
that? See that? Now, you guys know about Bonhams, right?
we
You know
do.
about Bonhams, Poppy? The
It's one
auction
of those
house?
big auction houses.
Big auction houses. Yeah, I know. I don't hang out with these kind of people either.
We don't
But
either, but we
in
covered it
terms
a
of the
lot.
art market, it's not, but it's the whole point here is it's not just the art market anymore. Those big three auction houses in London, they auction way more than art these days because collectibles now are considered way broader than just 2D and 3D art. They auction cars, they auction collectibles from people's own personal lives, as we're going to talk about later on in this episode. The point is, Bonhams is one of the big three. They saw a 90% drop last year in terms of how much money they were able to make.
Yeah, they're
Right?
hitting
The
the
auction
brakes.
market is collapsing. So I put this in because, in contrast to the NFT and the virtual market, which obviously is dead, the physical market ain't doing much better either. Capital has decided art is not where it wants to put its money anymore. There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh dear. And how is this affecting us, inverted commas, emerging artists who are not part of this big, vast, fabulous network of capitalist wonders?
Well, as always, right, the issue becomes if you're trying to get onto that train and work your way through the gallery system, starting off with the regional, that becomes the metro, that becomes the national, that becomes the international, right? The traditional pyramid scheme that everybody understands. The likelihood of that happening is like even lessened now because that's a collapsing system. So,
Yeah.
as people have been doing now for about a decade, since that system began to collapse, it's collectives, it's doing stuff yourself, it's
Yeah.
not having physical spaces and moving around and doing things that are more guerrilla kind of tactics. That's UE guerrilla, not O guerrilla, right? This is like Hakim Bay territory, temporary autonomous zones. I'm a nomad on the planet and I move, right? And if
Yeah.
you're willing to take that on, then you can make that work. Now, how you do that if you have a family, how you do that if you have parents to take care of, how you do that like the way most artists actually end up living their lives,
Mm.
I'm not certain that that's a viable model either for most people, right? That's
Yeah.
the problem.
It's part of the big three, though, as well as in Sotheby's and Christie's, and they're all kind of at this little bit of a fail situation at the moment. So
Yeah.
it's not just Bohams. It's like they're all across the board. There's a big failing um, response to what's
Yeah, and there
happening.
was this. They thought that like they were going to shift all this money into the Middle East, and Qatar was going to be this like Qatar, sorry, it's going to be this like huge new place of like money for art and
Mm,
Doha and all these things, and yeah,
yeah.
the bottom's falling out
Although
there too.
all the big sales were happening in Asia, weren't they?
Yeah, no, and that market collapsed too. Like
Mm.
it's
Gone.
all,
It's
capital
all very interesting, Poppy.
capital has decided the art world is not where it wants to put its money anymore. But I honestly think that that's a good thing because as an artist, if you were ever thinking about you were going to get a financial return on the things you're putting your heart and soul in, you have missed the point of what you are doing. You are not an
Mm.
artist. I'm sorry. Like
Poppy, how much did your last piece sell for at Christie's?
I
It was
I
definitely
give
over
up.
the 1 billion mark, wasn't it? I remember. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah,
It was my favorite of your piece. I was so sad I couldn't afford it. Yeah.
I never make art thinking about selling it or like
You're
how it
dead
looks.
right. Good on
right,
you. Yeah.
right.
And
But
that's
in all
how.
seriousness, right? You went back to grad school, right, to go to a degree precisely because you cared about what you were making, not because of what was going to
Yeah,
cost, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We do
That's
it for different reasons. We do it because we like to be poor and because we love to have this as a vocation. So, yes. Moving swiftly
I
along into our next
I
story.
no, I think it's important to be realistic about it, right? And I think that
Love a
if
bit of realism.
people well, I get much better reactions from people when they realize I'm not trying to sell them my art. Like either I give it away to them or if they want it, they can ask me, but I don't do that sales shit anymore, right? That is
Yeah.
not how I try to play the game because it's a waste of time and energy. It's a
Yeah.
fool's chase.
Mhm.
You're right. 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 will make it work for them. Like, good for
Yeah.
you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I just want to make more art. And at the end of the day, It's the number of pieces, right? The pieces you put out in the world, not what they sell for. It's just so. It's a very warped way of looking at the world.
You're
From
so
my
wise, Josh. You're so wise.
well, I've been called Father Time, so
Yes, and your wisdom is only growing as long as your beard. Moving swiftly
Fine.
along into our next
Moving
story.
along. So, Poppy, do you eat meat?
Huh?
Do you eat meat?
Do I eat meat?
Yeah. Do you eat
Yes.
meat?
Yes.
Yes. Amo, you eat meat, yes?
I do, yes. I
Okay.
do.
So
I'm still respectful of the animals, and I make sure it's always organic, etc. But
okay.
yes.
So there's an artist collective called MSCHF, right?
Mhm.
MSCHF, whatever, how you put the acronym together. They have a current project that is raising a cow called Angus. And in about a month from now, people are going to have their ability to vote turned off of whether Angus lives or not. Currently, Angus is going to be turned into 1,200 hamburgers and 4 handbags.
Yeah, it's very
Because
sad.
the public, this isn't about just like, we have a member of our collective is doing a similar kind of project, right? She's raising animals and then is going to be slaughtering them, but that's as a part of a farm. This is more like what we saw last year, where I'm going to have these animals that could be potentially be starved to death for an art project. In this case, it's an animal that could be potentially turned into food and handbags, and it's the public that makes this decision. As far as MSCHF's concerned, this is like abstract art. What happens next is more about us than it does about them.
So what I
What do you
read
think?
about this was that it was I think they had to of the 50% of the sales had to be cancelled in order for
Yeah.
this lovely cow to not be slaughtered. And what you got, as you can see here on the screen for those who are watching through the visual podcast, is on the left you have what looks like, those little soft cheese triangles.
Yeah.
So they've them like those like little burgers. They have little kind of burger packs in them, so you would have got one of those. And on the right is the thing what you would have got if you were looking for the handbag. So this is like the tag for the handbag. But it was only like say like $35. I think it's American.
Yeah.
So you'd pay $35 for it, but you'd have to cancel the order in order for them to be able to send this cow to a lovely place of retreat where they can live out their life until
Right.
nature had called.
You get something either way, right? It's an
Yes.
art sale. You get something either way, whether it's a representative token or the actual thing is in your hands, literally.
Yeah. Aw. Anywho,
What
the
you think,
poor
Poppy?
cow. The poor cow has the 52 weeks. He's only got 2 weeks, Poppy. That's all he's left. So we have to make sure that somebody else cancels their order. Otherwise, it's bye bye. Bye
I
bye,
could
moo
not
cow.
eat it. Like, no way.
Yeah.
So that was
sad.
the issue. Last year, you had these 3 pigs. They had names. No, they weren't pigs. Were they sheep? Goats?
I don't remember that.
It was remember, it was something from Europe, and it was these baby animals, the 3 of them. They had names, and they were going to be slaughtered. And
Oh, they were piglets.
uh,
They were piglets.
maybe piglets, they got let go. Someone broke in and let them go. But the whole point was, well, they're slaughtering tens of thousands of these every day that don't have a name, right? And you're happy to eat your bacon rasher. You're happy to have your ham steak or whatever. And it's because you put a name on it, now you don't want it. Well,
Yeah.
but Angus is a cow, right? At a certain point, even if you let Angus live, what is the inevitable result of what Angus is going to end up as?
Well, I suppose like an aged cow, I suppose it's not going to be very tasty. But it's
No, no, there
but
are people who buy the specialty meats. I'm with you. You'd think that, but no, there are people that buy specialty meats that only want from aged cows. They see it as more ethical. That at least the cow's going to end up being meat one way or another, right? It's a cow, and so
Yeah.
at least you're using it after allowing it to live and ethically. It's like free range chickens versus cage chickens, right? You're still eating the damn eggs, aren't you? You're still eating the
Yeah.
chicken at the end of the day. It's
So I
how
suppose
that
to use this as a trigger point anyway of conversation, this being a social exercise in how we how we promote veganism or
yeah.
vegetarianism, I suppose is probably the biggest point here. And I don't know, is this successful? Probably not, because they haven't sold all of their returns. So they've only 33%, I think, of it on the return back. So I still think that they've had some form of success because we're talking about it right now. So I suppose that
Well,
is a good thing.
I would argue it shows us exactly who we are. Many people talky, but when it comes to action, there ain't
They want their meat.
nobody around. Or conversely, they're saying, as I'm arguing, right? I don't say I would definitely do this as an art project, but I have nothing against like killing the thing you're going to eat. If you're going to do that, if you're going to eat a living animal and you don't have the stomach, no pun intended, to be there from beginning to end, I question your ability to do certain things. Like,
You see, I have a problem with that myself because I hate blood and I don't like the idea of the whole slaughtering
I
system.
don't.
And
I became a different kind of doctor because I wanted nothing to do with the internal sides of things, right? But that doesn't
yeah.
mean that if push comes to shove, I can't do what I have to do. I have pets. You have to put them down at a certain point
Oh,
because
I
they
know,
get
but
in
we don't need to
pain.
think about that. We don't need to
But
think about that.
but that's Angus the cow at some point is going to get too old, right?
I'm
Like
going back to the previous episode of Spill the RT where the River Nile was very much in play, and I'm going to stay there in denial. So yeah, thank you.
And also, I got told this story this week about like this experiment that people did on rabbits, and it was like the group of rabbits, like it was something to do, I don't know what it was, but there was like a group of rabbits that when they were being fed and cared for in the lab, the person that was caring for them was like holding them and like talking to them in like a baby voice and stuff. So they like naturally grew better because they were being
yeah,
cared for. And I feel like that's what I struggle with in this kind of experiment is that like naturally Angus, this cow, is getting more attention and more care than any of the other cows will be getting. So he's
100%.
gonna be
Oh,
growing differently.
Well,
poor
if you think about it,
Angus.
Yeah.
situations like this force us to confront the two sides of what it is to be a human, because humans like to see themselves as different from animals. Well, on the one hand, you're not different from animals at all biologically. In fact, you're part of an ecosystem. You're supposed to be occupying a niche. On the other hand, culture ain't about that at all. And Angus has been pulled into culture, whether he wanted to be or not, right? Just like those bunnies were pulled. But we also know that's why human beings had to be raised by human beings. Because if you leave a baby alone in a closet, it dies. If you take away attention from a human, it starts to starve, like their brain shrink. Things happen to us. We are social creatures, right? So this is asking us to consider, well, at what price does sociability come? And are you willing to, or not, fill your stomach?
Oh, okay.
All right. I
Yeah.
have no problem with it. If you can do that, I think you should do that. There's an ethical connection here between being willing to stand behind. Yes, I am a biological creature. I have to exist in some way. But
Mm.
there's it's a gray area, right? Animals don't have to suffer in order for us to be able to eat them,
Yeah.
right? There is a
Okay.
difference there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to suffer either way.
But human culture is based on agriculture and the raising of animals. That's when we took off 10,000 years ago, right? So
Mm,
it's just that we did it differently. The sheep
we did.
herder who's herding sheep in the wild is different than the industrial production of animals.
I
Those are
know.
different things.
And now I'm going to very controversially say I'd rather go to the store and just purchase it in a packet and
That's
not
and
see the
that's why
process.
all right, and that's why it's in plastic and on the little tray and no
Yeah.
right, no blood, no nothing,
No. No,
right?
I'm an awful human being. I know I'm not very good to the world and I feel terrible most of the time. But at the same time, I need my protein. I just fall away to nothing, you know. I'm already a skinny bitch,
That's
you
true.
know.
You are very skinny. You need more protein in your
I
life. That's
do, I
true.
do, I do. So, you know, the cows are doing the Lord's work.
So I know where you can get some beef if you're looking to add to your
Beef. If you're looking to beef up.
anyhow, boom.
Anywho, moving swiftly, as they say.
Off we go to Boston.
Boston.
So let me ask you this, Poppy. Are you willing to buy? Do you have like a favorite artist or creator or someone famous who like you'd want to buy some of their stuff if it was available? You know what I mean? Like people like to collect stuff from famous people.
Yeah, like I have like merch and stuff from
Okay,
Okay.
right, merch, but that's stuff that's like been deliberately designed to be purchased, right? I'm talking about like you have a favorite, whoever. Would you buy like their hairbrush from when they were a kid or something?
no.
So Steve
Are you?
Jobs, we all remember Steve Jobs, yeah,
Yeah.
founder of Apple, one of the founders of Apple. He died, right? And so, unsurprisingly, techniques that don't involve actual medication will tend to kill you at the end of the day.
Okay.
Nonetheless, he died. All of his like personal stuff from his childhood home, his personal prototypes from the Apple making process, all that shit's going up for auction now. It's all available for auction. And so anyone out there who has like a fetish for Steve Jobs, this story is for you. That's why I'm putting this out here. You too can
Darren.
own. You too can own. And some of it is interesting, like motherboards, design paperwork that they did, various kinds of things that are from the ideation process. Cool. But it's also things like his notebook from when he was a teenager, his desk. You buy the whole desk. So whatever's in the desk comes with the desk.
Oh,
It's
wow,
that kind
that's
of
good
weird
value.
level of
Mm. I mean, if you get all the contents of the desk, then it's good value, isn't it?
or just go to a swap meet or,
Yeah.
and just buy a used desk for like far
Well, you
less than
see,
this is going to go
I
for.
have a couple of the auction pieces that I found interesting as well. But also, Poppy, just so you know, because you're an absolute star and like a rising artist, you need to now save things, right? So the first thing you need to save, Poppy, is you need to save your bills. So this is the first account statement for an Apple computer from the Apple's first financial record. So this is now at auction, right? And the bids are currently for this piece of paper are
Yeah.
at $281,000 for that piece of
Yeah.
paper. So
Because it's got his signature. Because it's
yeah.
got his signature, right?
Can I
The
So
ask?
point
when you
there is
get your art supplies invoice, sign it, and it will be worth $250,000 in about say 20 years. You're not going to get the value of it because you have to be dead, but
sign it, but don't then allow other people to have access to it. Part of this is that
absolutely.
there's almost no thing out there that has his signature on it. So people are buying this shit because they know in the future someone's going to want to see Steve Jobs' signature, and that's why this kind of a check, a $500 check, is like, what's it up to now? It's like
Yeah.
$100,000 for a $500 check. It
So
doesn't even
there's
make sense.
this check here, which is the 500, the one that you're speaking about. This one is the first bid. I think is this. Oh no, this is the wrong one. Sorry, apologies. This is the historic first check from 1976 to Howard Canton, designer of the Apple I printed circuit board. It's in mint condition, if you want to know that, and it's going for $260,000 at the moment. They think it's going to get 500,000.
It's insane.
Where's the money going?
Oh, probably into Apple's corporation tax or
So,
something. I
Do
don't
they
know.
not have enough?
given this was all Steve Jobs's personal possessions, my guess is his widow, right, Lorraine Powell Jobs. She's actually a huge philanthropist. She's given all kinds of money. Like she's one of the few people from Silicon Valley who's not turned completely right wing and like left the state and like she's not done that. So, but my suspicion is that this is all going to end up going to her philanthropic efforts at some point
Oh, well,
because
that's
she has
good.
no need. She's set for life. She's set for 1,000 lives, right? Like at the
That
point
makes
you're
me feel better.
at the point you're giving it away in tranches of $100 million tranches and above, right? Like you're set for so long into perpetuity, you don't have to worry about this kind of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. I'm never going to know what that's like, but that's
This
probably my suspicion.
this motherboard here, which is probably the
Who are
cheapest
you
of
calling
the
a
three.
motherboard?
I'm calling you a motherboard, Mish. Okay, so this motherboard here is currently bidding for just short of 200 grand. So it's actually the cheapest of them, and in my opinion, I think it's probably the most valuable looking. But there you go. I don't know what would I know.
Nah, no, because that's more a pure like technological evolution thing. It doesn't necessarily
Okay.
have his signature on it. The
Yeah.
provenance is that it would come from him, but something that actually like the business cards, apparently just business cards that he signed, or it just they just like he gave to people hundreds of thousands of dollars because of how rare they are. It's just crazy kinds of shit.
Yeah.
People are nuts. People
Josh, I'll
are.
buy you one for Christmas. Look,
No, I'm good,
I'll
thanks.
start saving now.
Nah, no, I gave it the office. I wouldn't. I have no.
If I save 20 grand a month, I'll be able to afford it by Christmas time. However, the auction will be over then, so I'll have missed my opportunity to buy it. So
Nah,
sorry,
there's
I
always a
missed the
secondary.
mark.
There's a secondary market out there. You can totally buy this shit,
Okay.
but you're going to pay even more. So maybe aim for 30,000 a month,
Okay.
and then by the
Perfect.
holidays.
Perfect. Poppy, I'll get you the check because then at least there's value in the check. You know, if you want to, if you want to check it in. I hope he signed the back of it because if he didn't sign the back of it, then it's not worth anything because the banks don't take it if you didn't sign the back of it. So
It's true.
That's
it's
true.
true. It is true.
So off we go. You all
Where are we
know the
going?
Bayeux. You know the Bayeux Tapestry. I
Yeah,
don't
we
even know
covered
where
it
to
like
place
10
this.
times on Spill the RT. Look back
Yeah.
at our episode catalog. There's
So
loads.
So this is the update, right? The Bayeux Tapestry is in the process of being prepared for shipment so it can move.
Yes.
Right? And this is apparently causing great consternation in all different kinds of ways. David Hockney, of all people, came out last week with a bunch of other artists, sent a signed letter to like someone in the UK saying, don't do this, because apparently they're so concerned that this tapestry is so old that trying to move it in any way, shape, or form is going to damage it. So, but let's say you're going to carry forward with this anyway. Here's something that shouldn't be moved, but we're going to do it because, damn it, for political reasons, we need to make this happen. How much insurance would you think you'd need to buy to insure something like the Bayeux Tapestry from being damaged?
What do you think, Poppy? Because I know the answer.
I fear I can see the answer.
Go for it.
The short and long of it is $1.1 billion.
It is. It's going to be
Right?
covered by the state, though, so it's going to be put under the
Yeah.
state's insurance policy rather than the galleries having to fork out for commercial insurance. So, in some ways, the states are doing us a nice job.
How much would you insure, say, the Eiffel Tower, the Tower of London? Like these are things that, like,
By
how do you even
comparison,
think about? It's just how do you even insure something like this? It doesn't even make sense to me. The whole thing is just bizarre.
how much do you insure your art for, Poppy, given that it's gone for such huge numbers at auction last week?
I suppose is it not going to be like the amount that it would cost them to repair it?
Replace. It's replacement
Replace it,
value.
yeah.
Interesting.
So what value is culture?
But
Less
I
than a
guess I
typical.
find that quite interesting because if it was on display in the Louvre, they'd just hire a new van and then just escalate up into the top window and then just steal it out again. So I suppose, there is that.
And scooter away.
You would get a very large piece of carpet or a rug, and then
It's a
you
good
would take
idea.
the
And roll
tapestry
it
and
up.
you'd roll it up in the rug,
Yeah, it's a good
and you'd
idea.
carry it out. It's a scene from Godfather 2. Bruno Kirby and who was playing the younger? I guess it was De Niro, right? Yeah, they're walking. He says to him, "I have a friend who has a rug, and we got to go get it." And so they break in and they steal the rug, and they just walk out with the rug on their shoulder, like, "Hey, we're just carrying a rug."
Love
So
it.
I think in a place like the Louvre, given that, you'd really want to kind of blend in, just look like
Yeah.
the typical tourist, kind of like you, Amo. You'd have your hat backwards, and then you just
Yeah, I often walk around with carpets rolled up on my shoulder as I view gallery experiences. That's like
Yeah.
part of my major look.
who
I'm setting a
doesn't?
trend. I'm setting a trend. I'm going to go down to the Tate Modern tomorrow with a roll of carpet on my shoulder. Yeah, just
Do
because
you not
why
remember the
not?
Pink Panther? Am I the only one who remembers the Pink
I
Panther?
loved
Come
the
on,
Pink
this
Panther.
is the cartoon or the movies?
I used to watch the cartoons when I was a kid, and then as much as I love what's his name, gray-haired fellow,
Exactly.
I can't think of his name, Steve Martin. As much as I do like Steve Martin, in things, I did feel as though he was the only good thing, I suppose, really in the Pink Panther movie. But anyway, that's a
That was
complete
a
side story.
remake.
It
That
was a
was a
remake.
remake.
Who did the
There was
original?
like 6 original Pink Panther films. Inspector Clouseau and right, like
Inspector
that was
Clouseau.
all.
I would like to buy a hamburger. Just bring it back to the meat story. Watch it. The
Did you
reason
say that you whack the meat story? What are you
I would
saying?
like
What?
I would like to buy a hamburger.
No, never mind. Never mind.
A hamburger.
Anyhow, so hey, Poppy,
Hamburger.
let's hear about you. Tell us
Absolutely,
about you.
Poppy.
Tell us about your work and everything that you're working on.
About me?
Yeah, you girl. Spill that tea on your stuff.
We told you this is the part where we
I
turn the
know.
show.
Well, maybe let's start with when
Yeah,
did you
show
start
us something.
making? Tell us about something.
When?
When
Or
did you
where?
when, where, how, what?
Where like when there's like really like people go on singing shows and they're like, I've been singing since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like whenever I say this thing.
Okay.
I do feel like I've been making like random shit like my whole life. And then I did I studied prop making.
Okay.
first, and then I kind of got annoyed because you have to like follow a very, very strict brief. So then I started studying sculpture instead, so I could like create my own briefs and designs rather
Cool.
than like strictly following something else.
And then
Very
after
cool.
having done that, you realize I didn't actually need to go to the degree to do this. I could have just
Oh,
designed
just
my own
done it.
briefs anyway, and right, like
Yeah, it's true, but it was nice. Like it's very like validating to do a degree, like because you're surrounded by so many people who are like you're talking about it every single day in a group
Yeah.
of people, you know. It's not like you're just sat in your room by yourself making like it's a very like encouraging experience, you know.
yeah, yeah, you're right. It is. It's more about yeah. It is being validated in the sense that like what you're doing. Oh, I'm not just a freak by myself. Other
Yeah,
people are also freaks. It's okay to do
exactly.
that, and like actually, you can learn how to help other people become freaks too, right? Like, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. A studio would also do that, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's true, but like having the confidence when you haven't studied it before or been in
Yeah.
that world to then suddenly get a studio like that, I feel like that's a big step.
It is. I also
Um,
think as well,
Yeah.
from going from an undergrad in somewhere where you are doing something that's very skill based and very much
yeah,
learning how to, and obviously following briefs, to something that's a lot more conceptual and contemporary and about like ideas and thought process, um, in a greater form or in a greater way. It's probably a
exactly.
huge different way of learning for you.
Yeah, and you have to like really believe in your own ideas. Like
Mm,
it wasn't the skill that was the problem. It was like having the confidence that what I want to say, other people want to like listen to, you know what I mean? And like
mm,
without other people telling you that they like it, you kind of can't gain that.
yeah,
This is
cool.
also why I've had many people tell me over the years that they felt like their BFA beat their love of their art out of them, and they didn't find it again until either years later or when they went to get an MFA, precisely
Yeah.
because there's too much of an emphasis on the technical side. I get it, like you're training for business. Clients have certain needs. A boss wants this is the spec, give this to me. I get that. But
Mm,
part of making art, whatever the medium is, right, is experiment and play and the
yeah.
joy of just doing. And to have that kind of taken away from you, it's like, why was I doing this then? Why did I start down this road if I'm not really liking who I am through that process?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I found that interesting too. I suppose in my undergrad, it was all about concepts really, to be honest. It was like let's crush you down first in the first 2, 3 years and then you find that you're
But
actually making stuff that you began at the very beginning.
let's see some. Let's because you have a
Yeah,
show. Let's see the
we
stuff from
have. We
this
have.
recent
So
show.
the first piece we have here is this image, which is like an install view. Do you want to talk about this piece?
Yeah, this is Sleepers, or at least the series is called Sleepers. And it's 9 heads, and they're all obviously sleeping on their pillows. Um, and I made this during my MA. And it kind of started as I just made one of them, and then they're just like, I don't know, they're like my children. Like they just grew because of like stories I'd heard and like comments that people had made about them kind of produced the next one.
Cool.
Like I don't know. They're just
And so, how did you arrive at 9? Was that just I ran out of time? I ran out of energy, or
yeah, my art's always like very I make the things that I'm excited to make. And after about 9, just no more excited. Like I wasn't excited to make anymore. It's not that I'd like was bored. I was just like I can't think of an idea of the next one, so I won't do it. Like I'll just move on and make
yeah?
something
That's
else. And
very
then
fair.
yeah.
We've got some close up of some of these wonderful heads. Who is this one?
She's called the mother, like
Okay.
sleepers bracket the mother, because she's on an L-shaped pillow, in like a
Oh
wider
yeah.
pillow, which is a pregnancy pillow.
Yeah.
And I kind of love the idea that like you can't like see the world beyond their head. Like they're not meant to be decapitated. It's supposed to be kind of like a dissociated, like only looking at their face and their head while they're sleeping. So
Mm.
she could be pregnant or she could have had the kid already, like, or I don't know, you don't know anything about her life. All you know is that she has a pregnancy pillow that she's sleeping on. Like, I don't know. I like that.
So each has a name.
Yeah.
Are
They have
they?
like a
But are they intended to be kind of like that, where it's like sort of almost mythic in the sense of like a trans story? It's more almost kind of trans historical. Like, what are some of the other names?
yeah, they're all like titles. So there's like the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the sister, the brother, the cousin, the dad, the mum. Like they're all just very generic. Like you could pick that
Archetypes.
into your life or you could not. It's kind of up to you.
Cool. I have another one here. This is for me anyway. Interpreting this from my point of view, it's this is me. It's like, I want to go sleep. Shut the whole world off. Close it all off. Get rid of the sight. Get rid of the light.
Why am I not surprised that you're an eye mask kind
What's
of?
happening here, Poppy? Tell us about this girl.
It is exactly that though. Like you've just said, why am I not surprised that like you wear an eye mask? Like it's that. Like I love that it makes people question about how other
Yeah,
people sleep and about how they sleep. Like
yeah.
that's just kind of the whole point to me. Like I hate eye masks. I could not sleep in an eye
No, I
mask
can't.
whatsoever.
I don't either. I actually don't.
And she also has this like blanket that's kind of like torn apart on her pillow, like as if it's like I don't know, like her favorite blanket, but it's like old or something like that. Like I don't know. I like her.
Yeah, she's
Well, I
fun.
can
She's
see,
on.
I can see how you brought together like the kind of two different parts of the background, right? Because you're using props, but you're using props to provoke, right? Rather than just sort of like make the show go. This is more about poking at the viewer rather than helping them to like experience the narrative of the show on stage, right? So that's really cool.
Totally. It's so people like make their own story or their
Yeah.
own like yeah, they're making up the play or the theatre rather than me telling them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that her mouth is open. That's kind of a cool thing for me. And I can just picture the drool just
I
Yeah.
was just about to
pouring
ask you
out.
how much drool is on your pillow, Amo.
It's usually soaking every time I wake up, so I'm hoping that is drool.
A couple of
Anyway,
them have like olive oil on their pillows as well from like where the drool is.
interesting. Olive oil has a very specific smell.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of it. It's just like a tiny bit because it's
Okay.
shiny.
Of course, clever.
Yeah.
And we have this one, which I felt was like we had to include this one because it's, it's Josh without the beard.
Sure. Yeah, Josh, if I go like this, that's
And particularly wide mouth, which I love.
That's so funny.
So
I
what's
will say
happening here?
I
This is this the grandfather or the
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I have to individually punch every single hair. So he's kind of was a great one because he doesn't have a lot, so I didn't have to. It didn't take a very long time.
Love it. No,
Yeah.
they're really great. I love them.
How
I
come
love
there's
them.
no one with a beard? Oh, because beards take a long time to do the install on. So
There is one with a beard. I
We'll
don't remember which one.
I will source that and I will share that on our feed so that people can see the beard. For those who missed out on seeing the beard on the episode, check out our social media.
but
Yeah. So
tell people where was this installed?
So that picture was at my graduate show at RCA. When I finished my MA.
Nice.
cool.
And what are you working on now?
Yeah.
Do you have another? Are you continuing on with this, or did you go into a completely different direction?
I'm still showing these quite a lot often in shows because I just love it. I also love like when I give them to creators, just like letting them decide like where they are in the room or like who's by who or who's near who or what pillowcases they're on. Like I love seeing the different ways people are showing them. And yeah, I want to make something similar. Like I just don't know what I'm doing next yet. Like I'm very interested in like dissociation and kind of like the way we look at our bodies after trauma and like the way we look at
Mhm.
like our close friends and our partners' bodies after trauma and stuff too. So definitely something similar vibes. I just don't know. I don't know
Hmm.
which path yet.
What I love about this is that I like how you've different generations covered and how you've different kind of sexes and you've different, there's a whole load of different types of people and no matter who you are, you can go into that space and relate in some way just by the presence of their head, which is really interesting. And then I think what I didn't get from it initially, because I saw this in Candid when you had it, and I was kind of like I was quite interested in it at that point. I was like, I didn't pay as much attention to the pillow or the construct of it. I was more interested in the heads themselves. But you just
Yeah.
added a huge other layer to that there. That's really kind of connecting it even a bit more, which is brilliant. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Because when I first had them, they each had like their own individual pillowcase. Like the
Yeah.
old guy had like kind of like a decorative like yellow stained pillowcase type thing, and I like it individually. But when they were
Mm.
in a group, it became quite like overwhelming.
Mm.
Like it was like you were focusing too much on the pillowcases rather than the heads.
Yeah.
So I like the balance of both. I like that the pillow adds to the story, but it's only if you want to like notice it and see it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of part of the aesthetic that you're kind of working with here, right? Like you have real detail, but it's also then paired with deliberately removing and
Mhm.
leaving absent. So it's this absent presence that's being filled
Mm.
in by somebody
Yeah.
else, and yet it's not for lack of detail, right? And so it's
Yeah.
like you're prompting them in certain directions, but that doesn't necessarily mean precisely because of the various kinds of randomized ways of
Yeah.
mixing stuff.
Totally.
That's
Yeah.
really
I love
interesting.
Cool.
that people like see them so differently. Like when I first made them, the reason they didn't have a neck was because I was thinking from my POV of seeing someone sleeping, they would have like their duvet up
They're
to here,
covered
and
all the way up to here. Yeah.
yes, you wouldn't
Yeah.
see their neck, so there's no point them
Right.
having a neck. But then everyone
Uh,
else kind of saw them as like a dead, like a dismembered head
Right.
or like a beheaded thing that's on a pillow. Like I just find it interesting the different views of them.
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I find it really interesting. I really enjoyed it. Well, we're looking forward to seeing more of your work. So you have to tell us when you're doing something else and when your next body of work is, and we can share with all of our audiences
Yes.
across our social channels. So do keep us in the loop, Poppy, and we can definitely have you on again to talk about whenever you've got an event coming up or whatever. So do tell us.
And how can people follow you? You have a website?
Yeah, I've got a website which is just poppycowkey.com, and the same with my Instagram is just poppykowkey.
Down
Excellent.
below.
You can see the at symbol below, and we'll put all those details and links in our description, of course, as always, to support you as much as we possibly can, Poppy. So thank you so much. It's
So,
been amazing having you on. And Josh, as always, fabulous to share the art news as we are now, Spill the Art Financial Times. And we are looking forward to sharing more stories next week on Spill the RT.
We are in the royal we, he speaks.
In the royal
We
we.
are
We
looking
are.
forward to seeing you all.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that it's not the I, it's the we, so we shall speak together as one.
I
Um,
try to avoid the we. I try to avoid the we. I try
you don't
to
need to go to the we, you do that many times during the night, I'm sure,
look
now
out for
that you've
number
hit that
one. Try
point of
not
your
to step
life.
in. But you know that one? Look out for number one. Try not to step in number two. To me, the mistake there is I don't want number one either. Because we is number one and poop is number two. And so I don't want either one of them. I'm going
This
to
is a
avoid it altogether.
very, very drawn out analogy that has started about 2 minutes ago. Anywho,
Trust me, if you're an American, it makes sense. They get it.
because I'm
Right?
not
Right?
American.
Right? Leave a comment if you get it. Leave a comment. You got it.
Leave a comment if you get it. If you don't, just keep scrolling. Anywho, thank you all for joining us. We have been delighted to share all of the world's news stories with you
Yes.
today.
Thank you,
And we will be
Poppy.
back. We will be back next week. Thank you, Poppy, with a brand new guest as always and lots of new
Yes.
art stories. So until then, stay creative. Bye for now.
FOMO.